There's another one.
Nicalao versus Perez.
Man, I thought you were going to drop it just then. Nicalao versus Perez. It's a shame that Manel Cup dropped out because this would have actually been an okay card if he remained on this.
Would it?
Well, yeah. Well, no. It would have been an okay main event. It would have.
Thank you.
We've got Ryan Spann on the card, who's obviously, he's violent. We've got, I can't even. Arena Lipski versus Kane Silva. We've got Austin Lane. He's got heavy hands. It's shit through and through. This is a terrible card. I give up.
Yeah.
After last week, we had no fight night last week. We had Garcia versus Haney, which obviously went the way it did. Yeah. But, starting at the top, I guess we should probably break it down.
Break it down.
We've got Nicalao versus Perez. Perez coming off a pretty one-sided decision loss to Mikhaev. Although Mikhaev didn't do much to win the fight, he just held him, as Mikhaev always does. Went for the takedown, failed the takedown, sat in front of him on his knees, ready to take whatever came his way. Phallus. A hulking phallus.
Hulking phallus.
Ready to take it, and that again, I've been watching a few YouTubers talk about this recently, and it's becoming like a pretty big thing. Getting kneed in the top of the head or kicked on the top of the head or whatever after you go for a takedown should be legal. Wrestlers shouldn't have this get out of jail free card where they can just sit there for however long they want, hold the position, and then shoot again. It puts the striker at a disadvantage.
It puts the striker at a disadvantage, and it puts the sport at a disadvantage too.
All right, then.
It does.
It does. Let's just keep going. Let's just move it. Look, the studio's not what it once was.
It's falling apart.
Oh, lovely studio. But we'll get back to that later. Yeah, it ruins it doesn't ruin the sport. It's still obviously cool.
It puts the sport at a disadvantage because you don't get answers. You don't get what like the whole idea of this was like from the very beginning. What if a wrestler and a kickboxer met in the street? That's essentially what the UFC was trying to emulate.
Yes.
And now we have what if a wrestler was protected by the rule set so that he couldn't get struck while he's in a down position. And it's like, if that rule wasn't there, half of these wrestlers wouldn't exist in the sport in the dominant fashion that they do.
Yeah, exactly. And it would also give the wrestlers more of an advantage in certain other positions as well. Mm-hmm. If they got to side control, they could knee someone in the head from side control. Yep. If they were, anywhere, because side control is a pretty safe position to just sit in, just have someone in side control on you.
Like, there's a rule in the rule set: protect yourself at all times. And
exactly.
Some of these people don't have to protect themselves half the time because
Dagestani wrestlers.
Because they're in a position where the other person's not allowed to strike them in the way that makes the most sense.
Exactly.
And you can't say it's to protect them. You can't say, oh, but then it could hurt. You're able to fucking kick someone in the head while you're standing up. You're not going to do any less damage on the ground. Actually, you are going to do less damage on the ground because you can't generate as much power. It's fucking stupid.
Exactly. And they're putting themselves in literally because essentially what they're saying is, all right, it's too dangerous to get kneed in the head from that position because you can like pull it down and it makes it more powerful. But
you can do that on the feet.
Yeah, exactly. And you shouldn't, if it's the most dangerous place to be, you shouldn't be allowed to put yourself there.
Yeah, don't,
because it's a fight. You can't just in the street put yourself on your knees and hope that some guy doesn't knee you in the head. They're gonna knee you in the fucking head.
There's no referee to step in.
There's no referee. So that's nothing to do with this fight though. Little bit of a tangent there, guys. A little bit of a tingen.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I was just apologizing to the people.
So Mateus Nicalao obviously lost by KO, knee and elbows to Brandon Royval back in April last year. But he was doing pretty well before that on a decent run. He also did have a win over Manel Cup already. They were supposed to rematch. Manel Cup's obviously come a pretty good way since then, but can't make weight and can't stop himself from getting fucking injured. He's fighting Alex Perez, the DJ from who's on a
Oh.
3-fight skid, but
Against
stepping in last minute, you know.
some of the best
Oh yeah,
to ever do it at flyweight, though. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
Pantoja, Figgy, yeah, and like you say, that boring fight against Makayev.
Mm.
But yeah, before that, 2 first-round finishes via submission is how he lost. So
Bit of a weakness in his game. His most common path to victory, though, is getting the decision victory. He's had quite a few submissions and a few TKOs as well. And when we look at Nicalao, his most common path is also decision, but he's had, equal submissions and KOs. So pretty versatile guy. Seems to lose quite a bit by getting knocked out, though. It's probably going to end up a decision, I'd say, this fight, looking at it. From what I've seen from Nicalao, he's not got crazy power. Perez is pretty durable. I don't see him knocking him out. He could submit him for sure.
he's
I think
got
we're
a
going
few
to see a
submissions
decision
on
by
his record,
Nicalao.
but
Yeah, he does. I'd love to see Perez win because he's stepped up last minute and he's the dog, But I just see Nicalao getting this done by decision. What are you thinking? We're lumping it onto you right now.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, they're both in interesting points in their career where, like, Nicalao would have been very well off getting that fight against Cup because, like we've been talking about, Cup is the fire in the flyweight division at the moment.
Yeah.
We don't really have any interesting contenders making their way through. Hence, the 10th ranked guy is next to fight for the title. But on the same note, Alex Perez, like you say, stepped up last minute in his last fight. Before that, he fought the best in the division, and with the likes of the names of Pantoja and Figgy. So he's probably been in there against the more tough competition lately. So I think he's got the advantage in that area. So I'm going to say Alex Perez gets it done. I don't disagree with you though. I think if he's going to get it done by any means, it will be a decision. And if Nicalao's going to win, I could see him getting it done via a 3rd round sub.